Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Monday, November 22nd, 2021. I can't believe that. This is the SOS show with James Lott Jr. I'm James Lott Jr., super organizer. That's me here on JLJ Media, my online network. And who am I? I'm the JLJ of JLJ Media. And I have another guest for you on the show. This long-running hit show I've done for 6.5 years. I'm trying to showcase people who are doing amazing things. And our business is so vast and wide and reaches different areas of life. This person's a great representation of that because she works in real estate, but has her foot also in organizing. So we're going to talk about what all that means. SSHlifestyles.com is a place you can go to see kind of what we're talking about. We're going to go into more in depth about that. Help me welcome Corliss Wood. Hello, Corliss.
Welcome. Thank you. This is great to be here today.
I'm happy to have you. I'm happy to have you. So before we start talking, I do my thanks and gratitude, of course. I like to give thanks and express gratitude every day. And so on this show today, I want to express gratitude and thanks to my friend Sean Kanan, who is an Emmy Award-winning actor, who I was going to tell you, what I can say is he's been a really great friend to me personally, but professionally, he also supports me in what I do. And I have a big project coming up with him that I will be announcing soon. So I want to give him thanks and appreciation. I filmed it this weekend. I'm a little tired from it, but it was worth it. And I get to see my friends, and it's a great project. Also, I want to give some gratitude. I lost a friend yesterday. He died peacefully with his wife and friend by his side. Officer Tim Brennan, he co-wrote the book, Once Upon a Time in Compton. He was on the Compton beat for over 30 years. He was a good man, really good man. He helped with the Biggie and Tupac murders. So I got to meet him about 6 years ago, and we hit it off, and he was a really good guy, doing great work here in the community here in South LA. I was sad to hear that he passed. So to his family, to his wife, to everybody he policed, and everybody who, there are some good policemen out there. There are people that policed and walked the beat. As they say, it was his end of watch. And so I want to give gratitude to him, Tim Brennan. And you can watch the show that I did with him on my network here on JLJ Media. It's called Once Upon a Time in Compton. It's a really good book about working in Compton and the whole Tupac murders and Big and how that all kind of comes together. It was a great episode. So and I shout out to Lolita Fields, who also was one of the ones who was part of the book too. So that's my thanks and gratitude for this episode. I know my life, Corliss, is all over the place. I'm in Hollywood, I'm in South LA, I'm over here, I'm in organizing, I do everything.
Gotcha.
I do a little bit of everything.
That's fine.
As they say in LA, I'm a multi-hyphenate.
All right.
But you are too. But you are, this is not about me. This is about you, because you are a multi-hyphenate also. And I want to ask you this question that I get asked all the time myself. When you're at a party or at a get-together, and they say, Corliss, what do you do for a living? What is your answer? See, she starts like, let me start laughing. I love it.
Well, where would you like for me to start? Because I can start from way back, or I can start from right now today. But all of it said, at this point in my life, I've stepped out of corporate America for a lifetime now, and I am a professional organizer, and I also am a licensed real estate agent and a real estate investor. So my organizing part of my life has been a part of my life all of my life, as has real estate. We owned a lot of properties. I grew up in California, Southern California, and we had a lot of properties as a little girl. And I had to learn how to navigate through the real estate world at a young age. And organizing has been a part of my life, all of my life, in the fact that I didn't know that was my purpose in life. I just knew that it came very naturally. I did it, and I kept it moving. Throughout my career in healthcare for over 30 years, radiology to be exact, I organized a lot there also, from management all the way to, being on the floor as a technologist. So all of that organizing has just been a part of my life. And now I've made it a second life career.
So you tell me, well, I'm in real estate and organizing. Those are two main things right now that you're doing. You do both of those, and I think actually they're a good fit on many ways, because I've worked with realtors actually in terms of the decluttering space, organizing space, relocation space. Like you literally could relocate somebody. You can actually find them a place to live,
Mhm.
right? And also help them get out of their house. I mean, you could probably do both, right?
Yes, I could. Yes, I can. When I do that though, I take the hats off. One hat goes off, the other hat goes on. So I keep them separate. And especially when I'm working with real estate agents, it's very important that that is a very open communication, and that I help them understand that my real estate hat comes off and that organizing hat goes on, and I give their customer or their client the best service possible.
Yeah.
So,
No, I, as a person who has many hats and lots of hair, I understand that. You have to kind of like, when like we said, when we're in that mode, we're in that mode. Like, and I
mhm,
hear what you're saying. You're like, when I'm in real estate, I'm in real estate. I'm in that
right.
mode, working on that. When I'm in organizing, I can give you 1,000% and be present
Yes,
organizing. Correct? That's what you're saying?
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I like
So
that. Where are you located?
in Silver Spring, Maryland, been here for over 20 years. We moved here and the latter part of 99, and it's been a great, I enjoy it. I miss California, I miss my freeways, but
I know. I'm okay.
I miss all of my
I
freeways.
don't, girl. I was on the freeway yesterday. No, I don't miss any of them freeways out here. Oh my God.
Yeah, I miss my freeways, but it's nice here. It's beautiful here. It's nice to be in near the nation's capital, and just the variety and diversity of what Washington, D.C. and Maryland and the DMV has to offer. I absolutely love it here. I've made it my home.
Chocolate City. Yes, I love it. I was shocked. First I went to DC, I was shocked. I was like, oh, there's black people here. I had no idea. The way you see it on the news,
Yeah,
but no, there were black folks there. Because I remember going
yeah,
to staying at, I think it was a Renaissance or something for a conference in DC proper,
uh-huh,
and they were like, don't go to the left or south. I'm like, what are you talking about? Outside the hotel. And I was
uh-huh.
like, and I went outside. Oh, it's just it's black neighborhoods. Those two directions. The other two directions were more affluent, I guess. So there was like something really weird. I'm like, I went left and south. That's not what was going on over here. I found some good food too when I was over there. But anyway, but it was just kind of like I had no idea that our nation's capital, which was built by a lot of black folks. That's another story.
Hmm.
But the DMV is it's heavily diverse. There is diversity
It is.
in the DMV. Yeah. So I'm glad you said that.
It is. I love it.
Coming from California, we don't know that. We're way out here. They don't. I have a lot of friends who've never been to the East Coast. They don't even know it. I mean, my family's from New York, so I know East Coast because I used to go all the time. But out here,
Right.
they don't know. Where in LA were you from?
I wasn't from Los Angeles.
Oh,
I
where?
was from a little town north of LA, between Las Vegas and LA, halfway between, little town called Victorville.
Oh, you're Victorville. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's being funny. It's not a little town. It's not a little town anymore. Yeah,
No, it's not now, but it was when I was
yeah.
growing up. But it was all military. We were all military, all of our families, and or a lot of our families, not everybody, but a lot of our families there were. And but we had a good life. We had a good life, but I definitely had to move on and see that there's a bigger world out there outside of Victorville.
Yes. And like I said, right now it's crowded out there now. So yeah, I know Victorville. Um,
Yeah.
what is one thing you learned moving cross country about yourself?
That moving across, I was not afraid. I was very open to figuring out what the world was like somewhere else, and being able to navigate through that process without a GPS or smartphone, and be able to
Back
figure
then,
out my
yes.
way around, being able to figure out my way around. I mean, all my friends had moved away from Victorville and they lived in these places, and I just couldn't understand, how could you just go there and just pack up and leave? And I thought, that's what I'm going to do one day. And we did. Packed up the family, moved to DC and moved to this area, and I figured my way around. I got scared, and when I was in DC, I didn't know how to navigate those circles, and
Oh
so I
yeah.
had a relative that would take me out every weekend until I learned how to do the circles, and then
Wow.
I learned how to, get around, and I never looked back.
That's a great story and reference point for organizing and
Mhm.
for real estate. And so I feel
Mhm.
like what you just said there is something very important where it's like, especially in organizing, we're afraid to move
Yeah.
outside of our comfort zone, right?
Right. Let all those things go,
Mhm,
or move them or adjust them, or
mhm.
be okay with not holding on to the past of what you remember when you were young or when some particular point in your life. And sometimes those things are very hard to let go of. And for me, especially when I had to pack that whole house with two young children, my spouse was working here in DC and I was out there and managing departments, and so I just started packing. What I would tell people, I started packing 6 months early. I did a little bit at a time and got it done. Still had to manage the children and all of life, but you do it a little bit at a time, and then you do what's necessary. Make a list of those things that are necessary. So all these things can be managed, but it's a matter of timeliness and not trying to cram it all in at the last minute and then feeling like you have to throw everything away because you don't have any more boxes to pack them in, or you don't have this or you don't have that, from poor planning. Whereas you can just give away a lot of things and then be able to pack those things that you really want to take with you and learn to purge and scale down and scale down and scale down and scale down some more. And that's the thing that I find that most people have the hardest time with, is just letting go of those things that, in all honesty, they're important, yes, but are they really the most important thing that we really should take with us?
There are some folks, I mean, and it's just like this nutcracker. Okay, just for a second. This nutcracker is not from grandma or auntie. You just bought it one day. You've always had it sitting next to you on your desk, but like the box is full
Mhm,
of stuff that you know you really need to take. This can't fit in there.
mhm.
That's the problem. A lot of times when they try to cram, I'm gonna try to cram that, I'm gonna figure out a way to get this in there. But
Right,
is it really that? I mean, this was 99 cents at 90 cent store. Like I could get another nutcracker or something. Like I mean, I was like,
right,
that's the issue. And when you move, you see all your stuff.
right,
When you're about to move, that's when you get your eyes, the true eyes open, and they're like, oh, I have all this.
right. And so sometimes I'll the way I can help people when they are trying to purge, because that's what we'll do initially, is we will purge and we'll go through those things, and I will ask them, if you only had 1 hour to take everything you really wanted out of this house because something catastrophic was going to happen, and you only had an hour to take everything out of this 5 bedroom, 5,000 square foot home, is that nutcracker the first thing you would grab? And that kind of helps them put things in perspective. It doesn't usually last real long,
Yeah.
but it sort of helps them when they're going through things. And that has helped quite a bit to help them especially when I give them homework,
Yeah.
to stop and really think about, and then sometimes we have to get back together and we have to go
Yeah.
through it again, or
Yeah.
we have to do a few sessions. So it can never be expected that one time around is only going to be the time that people are going to do. You can't do that. Not everybody can do that. And it's not fair to them. It's not fair to anybody to say you need to make this choice immediately right now or forever, forever and ever, amen. No, you can't do that.
Right.
Sometimes we have to do that about 3 times, and that's okay. I'm patient enough that that's okay.
Two things I want to say. One, I was in a fire, so I know exactly. I actually had that question asked. I mean, I actually lived it. Where for me, it was saving my cats.
Mhm.
I was standing
Okay.
outside in sweatpants, dress shoes, my keys, my phone, and my cats. Everything else was
Okay.
going in flames. I didn't save
Oh,
anything.
wow.
So I
Okay.
know. So my clients, when you bring that analogy, I bring the analogy. So I go, okay, I let you guys know I was in a fire. I didn't have a chance. If I didn't have cats, I probably would have grabbed maybe a couple of things. But literally,
Mhm.
there was nothing, and so I haven't learned to live without. I don't
Mhm.
have any of my yearbooks, my baby books. It's all gone. Everything's gone from my childhood. So I have a few things. So I know. I said, well, I know what it feels like to have a lot of stuff. And then
Yes.
the second thing you just brought up, I want to make sure I want to say really quick is that you're right. It's it's okay to not get it first right away.
Mhm. Mhm.
Small steps. We created a habit the other way, so you got to create a habit the other way.
Right.
That's all I want. I just want those two things. I like what you said about the. So I just wanted to tell you, well, I've been in a fire. I know what it's like to lose everything and lose stuff. So I know, yeah, this stuff is just stuff. It literally is just stuff.
Right. It's all stuff. It is. It is. And I've not been in a fire, but I often have to ask myself, even, what are those things that I would grab if I only had 1 hour to get out here? Or I don't really want to say 5 minutes, but
I know, right? No,
but
right.
in all honesty, 1 hour is still, it's still a not a very long amount of time in consideration that you have years and years worth of stuff. So what are those things that you would grab? Really?
For me now, it'd be passport. There's a few. I have a box of stuff that's like birth certificate. I would grab that first.
Right. That'd be the first thing you grab. It's not
Yep.
all scattered out. Yeah.
Yep. And maybe my
I
laptop.
remember
Maybe that my laptop.
being a young girl and packing and traveling, because we traveled a lot. And I just remember thinking, I kept everything in my suitcase. I never would spread out in a hotel, would never put my things in those dresser drawers. Oh, nothing. Everything stayed in the suitcase right there. So in the event something happened, I could just shut it and go. I would not. I could never relax.
And I have friends who isn't until they take it, put it in the drawers, they feel at home when they're on the road.
Never.
And then you're like, nope, it's just a case. It just stays in there until I need to go.
That's it.
Hotel, you can grab it and leave too. Get out.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a good point. But yeah, for folks who are watching, listening to this, it's they say it takes time to create a habit. And since you already created the habit the other way, where you're just like, I'm keeping everything, it takes a while to create the habit of getting rid of stuff and deciding what it is. Because I'm saying it kind of just esoterically, it's just stuff. In the big scheme of things, it is just stuff. But I recognize that we hold value in nutcrackers. We hold value in the mug that I got. I mean, you bought stuff for a reason. There's reasons why you grab and accumulate things.
Right.
I don't want to minimize that, but I just want to tell you about this. But in the end, it really is only stuff. In the end, it's just, your life is more important. Hopefully you go save your children first, or your animals. I mean, I'll grab my plant.
Right.
My baby, you're coming with me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just think that, to me, that's more important than this rock that I have had for years or whatever. Maybe it's more important. But we understand. But you yourself organized and up down to a place where you're not super cluttered, it makes things easier. That's what Corliss and I are trying to say, is that's getting a handle on your stuff, correct?
Right.
So when it's time to move, it won't be so overwhelming. Right.
Exactly. And just purging on a regular basis. I really try to encourage people to purge on a regular basis, to really go through. I mean, can you really wear the 5,000 articles of clothing that you have in the 4 closets that you have in 1 year? And the answer is really no, because we only have 365 days. And for most of us, we keep wearing the same thing over and over. Every now and then we go and pull that one dress out that we haven't worn in a while, that is the most ideal and nobody's ever seen us in it. But for the most part, do we really wear, all those 5,000 pieces of clothing that we actually have? And when I say 5,000 pieces, I mean 5,000 pieces of clothing that we actually have. And it's a lot. That's a lot.
And when you say numbers like that, people don't realize it does add up.
It does add up.
Yeah, for every dress or every accessory that goes with it, you have underwear, you have socks, you have skirts, you have shorts, it does add up, folks.
It does. That's the one thing I like, and to be perfectly honest, that is the one thing that I like that Marie Kondo does. And that's stacking the clothes up on the bed so you can actually see what you have. I actually like doing that.
Okay.
It's overwhelming sometimes to the client, but for me, that's where I get my most joy, because I know what we're getting ready to do. And I know it's going to take me a matter of minutes or a few hours to get it done. And I won't ever leave the client. They look and they're like, and I said, no, don't worry. It'll all be better before I leave here. I will not leave one article of clothing on this bed. I promise you. We will go through this and we will get it done. And you will be happy. Trust me when I tell you.
Yes.
I don't ever leave them with a pack of stack of clothing like that. But it's important to pull everything out and see it all. It's important to dismantle that entire closet and take everything out. And I remember doing that as a child. I did that on my own. Nobody taught me that.
Wow.
And I would do it regularly because my parents didn't care what I did with my room or what I did with their room or anybody else's room in the house. I could dismantle anything I wanted to and put it all back together. And I found a lot of pride in that.
Yeah.
So when that, when my organizing life as a professional came along, that was nothing to me. It made me very happy. But for the clients, that it was very hard. If they find that to be very difficult because they don't know they don't want to pull all that stuff out because that looks like a lot of work. It looks like a lot of overwhelmingness to them. For me, it brings much joy. Bring it all out. Let's look at it. Let's determine what we want. And then you can step away and I'll put it back away for you.
Yeah. And that's the thing, folks. I've had people with the KonMari method, or what they call it. I've had them on the show, of course. But I would tell people, the thing about organizing is great too. There's no just one way. There's lots of ways to do it too. So you say, like she said, for some clients, it really works. When they see it all, you kind of grasp the concept. It's the same, like I said, same with moving. Once you move, you're forced to look at your house a different way. You see it more as a collective thing than like just each room. All of a sudden you see like, this whole house is cluttered. I have so much stuff. Like you just see it in a different light. And something like that, and that's actually so for some people will help them go into action to do that. So when did you realize? Because again, we didn't grow up. So I'm being organizer when I grew up. There was no such thing. When did you realize that organizing could be a viable business for you?
In 2008, that's when I birthed Clutter Corrections by Corliss, and that's when I knew. But I still wasn't quite ready. So it went dormant until 2019. Okay. And that's when I knew that it was time. It had already had the name, everything was in place. We just went dormant for several years. Okay.
A few years, yes. That's when I started, with 2008, 2009 is when I started. So we want to come on 14 years. Now, for me, I didn't know, I want people to know how I met her. When I met her, I didn't know there were Black organizers. So in LA, I finally met a couple a few years ago. They've been both on the show, Robin Reynolds, we both know, and Talisha Lyons Porter, who's out here in LA, and they're two friends of mine. Other than that, didn't know there were others. And then finally, by doing the show, I've met a few, and they've been on the show, like Mackenzie Scott and a few others, and now we go forward. So always been on the show. So I found out there's an organization, an association that has some other brown folks. Can you name that organization, please, Corliss?
Yes, that would be NAPO, National Association of Black Professional Organizers. It is wonderful. It's been really great. I didn't know it was there either until I stumbled across it. I was like, whoa. And I saw our friend Tanisha on there also. And I was like, wow. So it didn't take me but a hot minute to hit the membership button.
Yeah, hot minute. I know, but no, it's funny because I found during Black Lives Matter, how ironic is that? That's when I found out there was a group. And I want you to explain to people why this group's been great for you and your business.
It's been great for me to see the number of us that are out there and to really be able to connect. I mean, the speakers that we have on our meeting calls once a month, it's on the third Wednesday of each month, have been phenomenal. They come with just an array of different types of organizing that they do. We have a lot of people that are very niche down to specifics of what they do. Then we have others that are a little bit more broad and do general organizing. And then we have others that do like closet design, or they specifically work with children. Just a lot of different people and all over the United States with lots of different experiences. And I've just really enjoyed it from that point of view. Just watching them even starting up and watching it grow to what it's grown into now. So the ladies that are, that have been the founders have done an exceptional job. And I'm very happy to be on that. And then I met James.
Yeah, this crazy person comes on to one of their meetings. And you guys who watch the show already know who I am. And I came in and I said, come on my show, everybody, just connect with me. And overwhelmingly, I'm very humbled actually. Very overwhelmingly, I got tons of responses. So I'm very happy. And so now I'm connecting with all of you, and I connected with Corliss, and I said, yes, I was so just, I mean, there's something to be said, and I have no problem saying this because other cultures support each other. For me, it was nice to be in a Zoom room with other people who look like me. Okay, first I'm the only guy, but with that, my colorings and stuff that were from my areas from around the country that were like, the representation does matter. Representation does matter. And I was just like, this is something that for me, it was nice to see it. I know there are other Black organizers all around the country from different sizes and shapes and ages and colors and hues and hairstyles. And I just thought, that does mean something, right? It does mean something. It does. So for me, it was exciting. So I came on, did my spiel and did my song and dance, and now of course, and others are now coming on the show, which I wanted more African American fresh organizers on my show, just to show the world, because I have this platform to show the world that we're more than just a Marie Kondo or Peter Walsh, or other ones that are big. Comedic girls, like no shade to any of them. I'm just saying that we want to show that we also, and to show Black folks that you can have an organizer and you get somebody who looks like you. There are some cultural things, folks. There's some things that go on that they have choices. That if they want to have a Black organizer and support Black business, which many do, you can't have that option. It's very important to me. So I'm assuming that's also something that's important to you too.
It is. And the connections that we make. I make connections with all races, all diversity. I love it all anyway. And so I don't just, look at one group of people to say, that's an area that how do I want to put it? I love diversity from all walks of life, and I can connect in all those areas, and I love that about myself, that I can, and I've been very good at it, and I embrace different lifestyles, different foods. Give me some food and you'll really become my friend. Because I like food from everywhere, every country you can name, I will eat. But I will. And so I love the diversity. That's why I love living in this area. But as being a professional organizer, I get to meet so many people. I get to meet so many people, wonderful people. And it's been a wonderful opportunity. And I can only imagine that being still being in Victorville, where it's not quite as diverse as it is here. But growing up military, we were taught that at a young age. So we understood that. It came very easily. We were engrossed with lots of different cultures. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate about growing up in Victorville and growing up military.
Yeah. I will piggyback off that, just so I can say that I come from a multicultural family. I speak 4 languages. All these different things I do. So I like that. But for me, it was just a nice added bonus to find a group of people that's an option for me. That if I have some issues that are Black, there are some issues that are Black issues in business, I have that group to go to. Then I have this group over here for this, I have this group over here for that. So it's nice to have an option. To me, it's nice to have an option than not have an option. Whereas it's all one thing, and then you're like, because I know it's like to be the only Black this and one of the few Black that over the years. I grew up in the 70s and 80s and worked in the 90s. I know how that is. So for me, it's just nice finding an organization where I go, I'm part of this group too. That's nice. But now I got this group also here that if I have certain questions or certain dialogue, I can go over here and be supported. and not, and just have that. I like options. I'm like you. I like options. I like to have options.
Right.
My mentors come from everywhere. They're not from just one spot. So it's like I like to, I have mentors in Hollywood. I have mentors in organizing. I have mentors. I have mentors everywhere. So I like the. I'm also a gardener. I'm a garden father, and I have mentors in gardening. So I mean, I have mentors in everything. So I just I like that. That there's choice. So if there's anybody of color who's just looking for an organization, there is, and you're a professional organizer, there is one.
Right.
I'll put it in the link below so you can go there, do that. Well, it's been so great having you on the show, Corliss. You're welcome back anytime, any topics you want to talk about. But tell people where they can actually, this is not your chance to promote whatever you want, however you want. Where can they find you?
They can find me, Clutter Corrections by Corliss, rearrange, renew, live well. I can be found at cluttercorrections.com. You can reach me at 301-310-7044. If you're looking for organizing that relates to, I work a lot with people who are children have just left home and you want to repurpose your home, or seniors who are going through transitions. They're looking to set up their homes so their children don't have to come in and try to figure everything out. They want to get it organized now. They want to stay in their home, live in their home. Also, those who need estate cleanouts. You've got a loved one who lives in the state of Maryland or in DC, and they want to get their property cleaned out. Somebody has, they've inherited a property, or a loved one has passed away or the like, and they need to have the property cleaned out. I do that as well. If they have if they don't have a real estate agent, I have done that as well. I've cleaned out the property and then I turned around and listed the property and sold it for them, all without them not ever having to come to this area. I had a client most recently, brothers lived in California and in Chicago. Father passed away during COVID and they did not want to come here. They got my phone number through another contact. I cleaned out the house for them, sent them all the valuables that they either knew they had or didn't have, and donated a lot of things, sold a lot of things and the like. Or actually I didn't sell. We didn't do any selling on that one, but did what we needed to do and got the property cleaned out and then sold for them. And they were very, very happy. So I do again a lot, and but that's my niche is really working with those people who are, have just gotten all the children out of the house, the senior transitions, the estate cleanouts, but I also do other general organizing as well. Here to help those children, especially those with a minor learning disability, because I have a son with autism, and I had to teach him how to be organized. And he's a grown adult now who's very organized. So working with them as well.
Very good.
That's a lighter area.
And I'm glad you brought up the autism. I have nephews autistic, mind for autistic. It's like they can live nice, productive lives, folks. So that's like, I like there's no stigma or anything anymore. It's just teaching them a different way. That's all. Just different approaches. That's all it is.
That's it.
That's all it is. And my kids who aren't autistic are not organized. So that's how life goes, right? And I tell them all the time, get organized. My daughter's my nerves. I go to her house and I want to clean their house. It's crazy. They already know that. They know that. There's no secrets here. They know that. They're the opposite of their father. I like me at all. That's how that works. And my mother's the opposite of me too. So I'm the one in the middle of trying to clean everybody's house. That's how that works. But I love them very much. Thank you so much for being on the show. And you can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr. sold at James Lott Jr.
All right now.
Platforms. JLJ Media is everywhere. I'm one of the few people of color who has its own online network. So go check me out. Subscribe. There's a button down here somewhere. If you're watching this, hit the subscribe button. Support me and what I'm trying to do, which is bring diversity to the web and just make it normal. That's what I'm trying to do. I have lots of programs and more of these shows. I have a lot of amazing organizers. I've had literally 400 episodes almost of this, of great people talking about ways to make your life run smoother. ALottaHelp.com is my website. I'm a certified life coach and professional organizer, certified in 5 areas. So go ahead and check that out, see what I do there. And of course, Super Organizer is on Facebook. It's on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm everywhere. Just type my name in. You'll see I'm everywhere, folks. You can't get rid of me. Everybody, please have a great week. Have a great Thanksgiving. And of course, you have a great Thanksgiving weekend. And
You
everyone, please
too.
be kind to each other and have compassion.